Right on time for Hope TV Newswatch on this 12th day of May 2023. A very good evening to you and welcome to the broadcast. My name is Gloria Musimbi and on the sign language interpretation tonight is Boniface Muridhi. You can interact with us on our Twitter handle at HopeTV_KE. The hashtag is Hope TV Newswatch. And on the news, Eliud Wekesa, popularly known as Yesu wa Tongaren, will be detained for 4 more days at the Bungoma police station to allow the prosecution to conclude investigations. Issuing the ruling at the Bungoma Law Courts on Friday, Principal Magistrate Tom Orlando directed the self-proclaimed preacher to undergo mental assessments at the Bungoma Referral Hospital. Wekesa is accused of running an unregistered church and promoting questionable religious teachings and activities.
I will therefore grant the application and allow the prosecution only 4 days instead of the requested 7 days to conduct the investigation and finish the investigation. I thus order that the suspect be held at Bungoma Police Station for 4 days and the prosecution to conclude their investigation within that period of time. That he be taken to the hospital for mental assessment at the Bungoma County Referral Hospital, and that the police are given orders of search as requested earlier.
Transport Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has assured that his ministry will continue to regulate the matatu sector to ensure the laws and road regulations are complied with. This comes a month after Murkomen had issued orders in a bid to prevent the number of road accidents in the country. The CS, who met with stakeholders of the National Transport and Safety Authority (NTSA) to discuss various issues including strengthening of safety, noted that every driver is to be regulated from both the public and private sector.
The court fines, again, we are going to be able to deal with this when instant fines and technology is applied, because the task force we are going to put in place soon will involve also people from the judiciary so that we all agree on how this instant fining is going to be done to avoid the desire to always take people to court, or you must take people to court. I will engage the Chief Justice and say that the transport sector would like to have a conversation about implementation of the laws and enforcement with the judiciary to see how harmonized this process can go.
On environmental matters, Environment and Climate Change CS Soipan Tuya has unveiled a secretariat that will spearhead the upcoming Africa Climate Summit in September this year. The summit is expected to host more than 10,000 delegates and will give a chance of a Nairobi Declaration on climate change that will benefit the African continent.
As it will be the first of a kind where all African heads of state and governments are convening under the umbrella of the African Union dedicated to climate discussions. His Excellency President Ruto is clear that the summit will chart a green growth pathway for the African continent, setting the stage for Africa to lead the globe towards a more ecologically responsible global industrialization, catalyzed by financing that is accessible, adequate, and affordable. A key outcome from the Africa Climate Summit will be an African Leaders Nairobi Declaration on climate change and call to action.
In Europe and at the global level, the leaders are already talking about the summit in Africa. You know how it works diplomatically. Then in all the meetings, it comes up as an issue. Oh, what about this? And who will go? And etc. So the bus is already out there, and it needs to be because again, 4 months is a very short time to pull it off. But we are confident you will do it.
Former Mungiki leader Minor Njenga has alleged the police raided several of his homes in Laikipia County this morning for unknown reasons. The armed police are alleged to have raided his Olngarua and Nyahururu Muthaiga homes in Laikipia County. Even as authorities denied any knowledge of the raids, Awaka Christopher Wafula said that a contingent of police officers arrived at the home in 2 police Land Cruisers at 6:30 in the morning to allegedly conduct a search. However, when contacted, Nyahururu Sub-County Police Commander Tom Okoth denied knowledge of the said raid within his area of jurisdiction.
Leo masaa ya asubuhi sana tulitembelewa na wageni ambao ni maafisa wa askari. Wakatuambia wanataka kufanya search huku kwa hii boma. Tukafungua. Walikuwa kama radikuru 3 hivi. Wakafanya search huku pekua. Alafu baadaye wakaenda, but nilisikia boma zingine za bosi wangu walikuwa huko wakafanya hivyo. Sasa hatujui venye kunaendelea. Hawakubeba chochote.
Retired Mumias Diocese Anglican Church of Kenya ACK Bishop Benia Salala has passed on, confirming the unfortunate incident. Bishop Salala's brother and family spokesman Crispus Chelatua said the former clergy died at an Eldoret hospital while receiving treatment. Salala served as the second ACK Mumias Diocese Bishop from 2002 to 2017 when he retired. He later engaged in politics and commented on governance and political issues.
Mimi ni Crispus Chelatua, ndukuye Bishop ambaye ameretire na alikuwa mgonjwa, ametuacha. Alikuwa Eldoret Hospital, ilipofika saa 10 akampeleka kwa ICU, kufikia saa 4 alikuwa ametuacha. Mimi kama kazini yake, familia ameenda na report kwa sababu kwa vile niko a close friend, is my cousin, is almost my age mate, lakini ametuacha. Asante sana tu, pole. Asante.
And that story takes us to our first news break. Stay tuned for more news updates.
Hope TV is where you look and live, with an excellent selection of the best Christian programming consisting of local and international content, of inspirational stories, talk shows, Bible commentary, youth, health shows, children entertainment, contemporary gospel music, extended times of worship, live broadcast, news, movies, drama, Christian ministry programs, and so much more. Hope TV is another quality service from Christ is the Answer Ministries, with over 45% of authentic and credible local content every week. Hope TV is a sister station to Hope FM, Kenya's leading Christian radio station, with footprints across the country. Tune in to Hope TV, where you look and live.
Reverend Ambrose Nyangao, Senior Pastor of Parkland Baptist Church, inviting us for this amazing thrust into Turkana. We are calling it Multi-Destination Mission. We need missioners. Many of them will be young people, and these young people need your support. They need resources. And we are asking that many will be able to engage and come on board. We shall have a medical camp. We need medical supplies, and we need your presence in a mighty way. Your prayers will be key. Resources will be key. We want to touch this nation through this county of Turkana, and God will richly bless us as we connect.
Welcome back. On the business news, financial expert and Fullerton Markets CEO Mario Singh has urged Kenyans to incorporate global trends, including emerging technologies, sustainability and digital economy accelerants. While acknowledging Kenya as one of the largest economies in Africa, Mario said he believes entrepreneurs and startups can support themselves financially despite the skyrocketing inflation across the globe. Mario, who has 15 years experience in the margin trading industry, termed entrepreneurship as a learning process with many setbacks and requires hard work and dedication.
So in Johannesburg, the main key thing was the FinTech conference. So I told my team that I didn't just want to fly halfway around the world to just speak in the FinTech conference. So I wanted to find out more about African culture. And when I spoke more about these things with them, they told me, why don't you go visit Kenya? So as I read and I studied more about the country, I mean, what really fixated me was, of course, Kenya is one of the larger economies here, English speaking, which is great, because that's not happening in Asia. You know, where I'm from Singapore. So the surrounding countries, we're all speaking different languages. So that's the beautiful part for me, right? So coming here, one of the key things, I'm doing a business conference that's actually happening in the next couple of days. So over there, I just want to share my knowledge that I've benefited from over the last so many years. And I just want to help pour myself into the people here so that they can learn real actionable strategies on how to combat certain ills. I will use the word ills like inflation. Well, the reason actually comes from COVID. So let me explain why, so that people understand what has transpired historically over the last 3 years and what steps we can take to mitigate all these risks. So number one, let's start with COVID, okay? So when COVID happened and all economies were shut down, what were the governments doing? Whether is it governments in the US, in Europe, in London, in Africa, even in Singapore. Many governments were more or less printing money to kind of support the global economy. So you see, when you do that, you are affecting the imbalance of demand and supply. All right, so as an example, when you're printing too much money, what kind of happens is that inflation becomes artificially inflated, you know, because there isn't so much goods, there's just now more money floating around the system. So when there's inflation, so the first key thing, inflation happens then. And over the years, for the governments to combat inflation, the first key thing they will do is to raise interest rates. I'm fairly certain even in Kenya, over the last 1 to 2 years, interest rates have been rising. Okay? Now when interest rates rise, what is the knock-on effect? Things get more expensive. Your mortgage loans get more expensive. All right? Employers themselves, they feel, oh man, I got to be paying more. And all these are trickle-down effects, you see, to even the men on the ground. The men and women on the ground, they've got to be paying more for food. You've got to be paying more for fuel. You've got to be paying more to service your mortgage loan. All these are being impacted. So inflation is a real problem, not just in Kenya, in fact, in the entire world.
Family Bank and Wildy International have entered into a partnership that will see them collaborate to develop the small and medium enterprises SME ecosystem through capacity building trainings to help build resilient businesses. The partnership will see SMEs gain values in digital marketing, business strategy, planning, legal and compliance issues, sales and governance. According to Family Bank's Chief Retail Officer Phyllis Kimani, their focus is to particularly be on the SME market, who make up to 80% of their customer base. Hence, they recognize the need to better empower and drive value of the businesses.
SME is one of our main pillars that drive this bank, and also as an SME bank, we really need to invest a lot in our customers. And there are different groupings that we are looking forward to have even in future, because we are looking forward even to implement our women banking and other propositions that are in line that will be coming forward. There's a lot of capacity building or knowledge impact that we really need to give to our customers. Business have become very dynamic. The world is really changing, and the business of yesterday, the business of today, and the business of tomorrow will become even more and more different. So we are happy to partner with World just to help our partners, all our customers walk this journey, so that at least they can also try as much as possible to improve their way of doing businesses.
SMEs are by their nature ecosystems. HR, whatever you call it. There's accounting and the rest. And those are the things that where they find quite a number of pain points happening around them. So they're struggling with HR, they're struggling with accounting, whatever else. So those are pain points. But we don't want to put across the idea that the SME is a collection of pain points. And once you deal with the pain points, the SME is going to prosper. Not so. First, we talk about the business model itself, and once that's clear, now we start to address the pain points around the business model. That's where our network of experts comes in.
In Kenya, especially those from informal sectors, have faced a myriad of challenges, among them neglect and discrimination. There is therefore need to ensure enforcement of legal framework that supports them. According to the Disability Mainstreaming Status Report 2021 to 2022 that was launched March this year, included some of the challenges faced by people living with disabilities, including lack of sign language interpretation services, capacity in public institutions, lack of commitment to disability mainstreaming by MDAs despite a legal framework, inadequate resources to implement disability mainstreaming programs, among others. I leave you with this special feature that shed light on the plight of persons living with disabilities, the ongoing struggle for their rights, and the importance of continuing to advocate for change. People living with disabilities from Embakasi Ward, Nairobi County, had a chance to attend the special Happy Moment event that brought together close to 130 of them. The National Council of People Living with Disabilities was present at the event held in Embakasi area of Nairobi County to participate in the food donation exercise as well as to donate basic equipment needed by the PWDs. The meet and greet exercise was aimed at ensuring the rights of PWDs are implemented as stipulated in the Kenya Constitution and find proper ways to ensure equity for them.
Ndio kwa maana unaona bring on board mpaka county government ndio tuweze kusemezana na hiyo mambo ya venye tunaweza advocate kwa ikiwa ni mtoto uko na mtoto mlemavu, ile kadi ya mtoto mlemavu, hata wewe mwenyewe kama mzazi caregiver, wewe ndo una feel your pain pinch na hiyo challenge yote ile mtoto anapitia, ni wewe ndo unaipitia. So ukipitia virahisi unapatia mtoto kazi rahisi, ukipitia vigumu, hiyo vigumu ndio unapitia, ndio mtoto pia anapitia.
According to the director of Dolphin Special Program, Peter Selenyi, the rights for PWDs are often not considered, hence the need for the government to find ways to address their needs.
Kuna kazi nyingi hapa, kuna kazi mpaka za ofisi mtu anaweza kata na wheelchair yake kama hii anapanga file kwa ofisi. Tumesoma, si hata tujasoma. Sawa sawa. Kwa hivyo county itupe watu wetu tuone wameandikwa kazi. Serikali kuu itupe ile opportunity yetu. Na ni vibaya sana mtu anajifanya mlemavu akishaandikwa kwa serikali anapewa nomination kama MCA ama MP, kesho unamuona anatembea sawa sawa hata ametoka India kutengenezwa. Kwani sisi hatuwezi tengenezwa? Watu waache kucheza na ulemavu.
This as the National Council of People with Disabilities is pursuing the Public Service Commission to fast-track the implementation of the 5% employment of persons with disabilities. The council also wants stakeholders and employers to consider establishing a team of sign language interpreters in workspaces as well as development of a comprehensive disability mainstreaming framework that can cut across all public institutions. In efforts to curb the challenges they face in the county and national level, the PWDs now want the government to intervene.
The only thing we can do is to make sure that now we start championing for the mainstreaming of PWDs from these kids. Because you look at every sector, be it health, education, it's not, they are not accommodative to persons living with disability. Schools are not disability compliant. Health centers, there is no free therapy for these persons who are with disability.
Tunahitaji ile inaitwa percent yetu kwa employment tupewe. Na hii kitu inaitwa progressive kwa katiba yetu ya disability. Ati katiba ile ingine inahudumiwa vizuri, inaendelea kutekelezwa vizuri, lakini issues za disability zinawekwa name progressive. What is progressive? Na itafika lini hiyo progressive? Tunahitaji tutimize vitu zetu vile wale wengine wako sawa wanatimiza.
Beatrice Machege, mother to 29-year-old Nixon Bosire, who was diagnosed with autism, narrates the challenges she faces and urges other caregivers not to hide their disabled children.
Inakuwa changamoto sana, especially kwa madawa. Anasoma, ako shule, pia school fees inahitajika, lakini huwa saa zingine inakuwa ni ngumu. Na kwa niaba ya wale wote walemavu, na walemavu wengi wako nyumbani lakini wanaficha watoto wao. Ni kwa sababu sio kupenda kwao, ni vile wanaona situation ni vile iko, wanaona kama hawawezi kuleta watoto wawapeleke shule ama wawalete mahali kama hapa.
In response to the various grievances, the Deputy Director of the Gender Inclusivity Department, Jen Gishure, noted that the county government has upscaled its efforts to improve health facilities that cater to people with disabilities, PWDs, and sensitize them on their rights.
We want them to know what they are meant to request from their members of county assemblies when we are doing our meetings for budget, when we come for public participation, because sometimes we realize that the turnout for persons with disabilities is usually very low.
With the rising cases of fraudulent disabled beggars lured into Kenya by abled exploiters, who are the main beneficiaries of the beggars' earnings, leaders of organizations of people with disabilities are further imploring the national government to intensify crackdowns to remove them from the streets.
Kupigana na wale wanatumia walemavu kama kitega uchumi chao, sababu tunataka serikali nisaidie sana, kuanzia serikali ya national mpaka ile ya county.
Embakasi Ward MCA Ricardo Nyantika, in his capacity, admits that he has always had a soft spot for the persons with disabilities and will push to ensure their inclusion during distribution of bursaries, employment opportunities, and implementation of PWD's friendly policies to accommodate them.
Tuliweza kutengeneza a special arrangement to make sure that we give more than 10% of the bursaries to people who are disabled. Even it surpasses, because we said when you want to apply, hata kama ni 60, we will give them consideration. Tumewapea consideration. La pili, we had discussion na tunaendelea kuongea na governor, na akaonesha interest ya kutengeneza shule ya people living with the disability.
The need to contribute to a greater understanding of disability rights issues and to provide insights into how we can create a more inclusive and equitable society for all individuals, regardless of their abilities, were clearly manifested at this special Happy Moment event at Embakasi Social Hall. Gloria Musimbi, Hope TV Newswatch. The second edition of the Nairobi City Marathon has been postponed to next month. The marathon, which was launched last year, was scheduled to take place on the 21st of this month, but has now been pushed to the 2nd of July this year. According to the organizers of the race, the postponement was as a result of a different run happening on the same day across the road. Dreaming Kipkorir Misoi won the last edition in the men's category, finishing 42 kilometers with a time of 2 hours, 8 minutes, 30 seconds to pocket 6.9 million Kenyan shillings. In the women's category, Agnes Barsosio dominated the race with a time of 2 hours, 24 minutes, 45 seconds and 6.9 million as well. Making headlines on sports news, five-time world 100 meters champion Shellyan Fraser-Pryce will not be on the starting blocks of the eagerly anticipated sprint at Saturday's Absa Kipkeino Classic, after all having been forced out with a sudden injury. At the same time, African record holder Ferdinand Omanyala has assured Kenyans a good show and yearns to break his record on Saturday. This is the fourth edition of the Kipkeino Classic. The event will take place at Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani.
Trust me when I tell you that I'm not going to lose any 100 meters this year, and nobody's going to beat me this year. I know what I've done. I've put in the work, and I know my body, and I know how I feel. Even when I'm walking, that's what I feel. So it's just about maintaining the form for the next 3 or 4 months, and making sure that the goal remains the goal, and yeah, breaking the record and winning the world champs and breaking the record again tomorrow.
So Shellyan Fraser-Pryce left the country last night and won't be competing at this year's event.
This is the fourth time that we are hosting the Kipkeino Classic, and it's been growing every year. We feel sorry for Shellyan Fraser for what happened, and we really wish that she was here. We saw her running last year, and we want to thank her for what she has done. And I think the report that she has written to apologize, we accept it.